Hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining me for a lesson about how to properly measure yourself out for store-bought patterns. If you are new to sewing and need to know how to properly measure yourself out, this video is for you. If you would like to see more how to sew videos or would just like to stay active sewing this year, please subscribe to my channel as well as check out my Instagram account for more recent updates. So today I am going to show you how to take basic measurements of your body that are usually required for most sewing pattern companies. For this video, you are going to need a fabric measuring tape. You cannot use a tool measuring tape as it will not wrap around your body nicely for accurate measurements. It may also be helpful to have someone else take your measurements for you, or to measure yourself in front of a mirror just to know where the measuring tape is sitting. Now, the first thing you should know about store-bought patterns is that the sizes of the patterns are not the same as the sizes of clothing you buy in the store. Every pattern company customizes their sizes for their patterns to better fit their customers. So it is very important to take your measurements and to look on each pattern for their sizing charts to determine what size you are before you start cutting out your pattern. You can usually find their measurement charts on their website or on the back of your sewing pattern. It is also very important that every few sewing projects you remeasure yourself. Bodies can change very suddenly. If you do projects only once or twice a year, I recommend that with every project you remeasure yourself out. You wouldn't want to assume that you're the same size from 6 months ago, then have your finished garment too big or too small. So the 4 main measurements you will need to know for most sewing patterns are the bust or chest, the waist, the hips, and the back waist measurement. Some patterns will require other measurements, but these 4 you will most likely see on every size chart. Before we get started, if you have on any bulky clothing like a sweater or sweats, I suggest changing into a plain t-shirt and a tighter pair of pants. So to find your bust or chest measurement, you are going to want to measure the biggest part of your bust or chest. You are going to want to try to keep your shoulders back as much as possible. Wrap the measuring tape around your back and pull it to the front. You want to make sure that the measuring tape is laying flat and straight across your back. This is where the extra hand or the mirror will come in handy. You want to make sure that the measuring tape is over the largest part of your bust and that it is sitting snug. You do not want it too tight or too loose. Normally, at this point, if you're taking your bust measurement, you would take a deep breath in so you have some breathing room. But with store-bought patterns, they already allow for this extra ease, so this step is not necessary. After you have it snug, you are going to read and take down your bust measurement. Now, for your waist measurement, you are going to want to measure the smallest part of your waist. A very good way to find your waist is to bend over sideways, like a teapot, and the fold in your waist is where you want to measure. Like the bust measurement, you are going to want to make sure that the measuring tape is flat, straight across, and snug. Read your measurement and take note. For your hips, you want to measure the largest part of your hips. This will also go over the biggest part of your butt. When you are taking your hip measurement yourself, you want to try to stay standing up as straight as possible and to not bend over. Wrap the measuring tape around flat, straight, and snug. Read your measurement and then write it down. Last but not least, you're going to take the back waist measurement. This is the measurement from the ball of the back of your neck straight down to your waist. This measurement is also more accurate if you have someone else to help you. You also want to make sure that you are standing straight. First, you must find the ball in the back of your neck. Place the measuring tape on top of the ball and bring the measuring tape down to your waistline. Like I said before, your waist sits where you have your first fold when bending over sideways. Of course, for this though, you don't want to measure while being sideways. If you are doing this by yourself, like I am, know that the measurement isn't going to be the most accurate. So now that we have our measurements down, I will now show you how to find your size on the back of the pattern. Just for an example, I am going to use this pattern, McCall's 7981. you will find the size chart for the McCall's patterns on the outside of the lip of the envelope. So for me, my bust is 38 inches. So this means my bust would be large. My waist is 33 inches. So this means that I am in between large and extra large. For my hips, I have 41 inches, which means that I am a large. For my back measurement, I measured 16, so this is a small. Now for some of my measurements, they don't fall under the same size. For myself, I know that my bust, waist, and hip all fall around the large size. So if I am making a skirt or a plain shirt, I would most likely just pick the large. My back to waist measurement, however, says I would fit under the size small. This meaning if I were to make a dress or a shirt with a waist seam in the large size, the waist seam will not sit nicely and it will be too low. So before I cut out my fabric, I am going to have to alter the pattern. Most store-bought patterns show in the instructions how to alter waist seams. Though, if you would like to see a video on this, please comment below and I can make a video about pattern alterations. And that is it. Now you know how to properly measure yourself to find what size you are for store-bought patterns. Don't forget, if you like this video, to hit the thumbs up, and if you would like to see more how to sew videos or would like to sew a project once a month this year, hit the subscribe and bell to get notified when I post a new video. Thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.